Cousins, welcome back to the crib. My name is Moni. If you are here for the first time, please consider hitting that like button and the subscribe button to become a part of the family. Today, we're going to be getting into a reaction video by our guy, Geek About It. He put together a 10-12 minute video on Kendrick Lamar's extreme, dark, and violent past detailed. Now, that sounds very dramatic. You know, gotta pull the people in. So, but the cousins have been asking me to react to this video in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, you should be in the Discord. So we're gonna get into this video again. Shout out to Geek About It. I'll have the direct link to the video in the description, so you can go over there and watch it yourself. After, of course, you watch it with me and show him some love. So now let's get into it.
Kendrick was walking with me. I just felt knuckles go bam. Hit me in the back of the head. Kendrick was like, hey! And he fighting with like two dudes.
I see this nigga Dave and K-Dot chasing the nigga. They jumping nigga.
He thought I was somebody else, bro. He low-key tried to press me. See, Kendrick grew up in the hood, like really grew up in the hood.
What's Kendrick's name from Westside?
Before we get further into this video, I don't know why it's become some like type of discourse to prove whether Kendrick Lamar was in a gang or if he is affiliated or not. Like, Drake tried to use that as an angle during the battle to say, oh, you don't really bang a set, you don't really do this, you don't really do that. Mind you, he's a Jewish kid from the suburbs of Canada trying to press someone's affiliations or gang ties. And you weirdos allowed him to do that to the point you started to question whether Kendrick Lamar was really affiliated. Like, that was the goofiest thing I think that ever happened during this battle. But anyway, let's continue with the video.
The good kid in a mad city. This phrase, often used to describe Kendrick himself, paints a picture of someone surrounded by chaos, but remaining untouched by it. However, this isn't the real story. For one, the title Good Kid, Mad City isn't just about Kendrick. It represents every kid who grew up in Compton, not just those who avoided gang life, but every single child shaped by their environment.
Was that Steve
Compton,
Lacy?
not just those who avoided gang life.
That's Steve Lacy, right? I think.
But every single child shaped by their environment.
The half of the story of kids in Compton is just basically good kids in a mad city.
I feel that we all good kids in a mad city. You know what I mean? It all stems from being a kid, and it's just the shit you exposed to. You know what I mean? I was exposed to it too.
No one is born evil. It's the circumstances and environments we grow up in that mold us. The album captures this universe.
That's 100% facts. You're taught that in psychology. From the beginning, you're inherently good. It's your environment that changes you to either be the prey or the one preying on people. You know, we're all inherently good, but your circumstances can unfortunately turn you into a deviant, so to speak.
Universal experience, reflecting on how environments we grow up in that mold us. The album captures this universal experience, reflecting on how good people can be pushed to do terrible things. Kendrick, like many others from his neighborhood, did some of these terrible things.
I don't think they really understand the story all the way. As far as I put out there, I'm just the good kid in the mad city. You know what I mean? I put out the positive out there, but they don't know the negatives I had to go through yet. I told them I went to school and I got straight A's, but I didn't tell them that I was out there with the streets, in the streets with the homies.
Which he documented basically in the album Good Kid, Mad City. It takes you on a tour of 1 to 2 days of the things that he had to go through coming up as a kid, or that 1 or 2 days just took you on a trip of memory lane of what he had to go through in those 2 days. Was it 2 days or was it 1 day? I can't remember.
Kendrick was like supposed to be a nerd or just a regular guy. Now all of a sudden he's like a gangbanger or something.
Is this Lord Jamar? He's a weirdo. Lord Jamar has been coming up lately in the headlines for the stupidest reason. I think most recently he came up in the headlines for dissing Kamala Harris, regarding voting. And it turns out he hasn't voted or been registered to vote for like 5 or 10 years. Like, just losers with opinions. Kendrick Lamar does not portray himself to be any type of gangster. If you actually listen to his music, he tell you the things that he's went through, but he's never put his ties and his affiliations or what he's done in the streets in his or at the forefront of his music. He puts it in his music, but it's not something that he brags about.
Some shit like that, like
the idea that you have to actively join a gang to face violence or life-threatening situations is laughable. Even if Kendrick has never raised a flag, that wouldn't mean he wasn't deeply affected by the chaos he grew up around.
Right.
We all know K-Dog grew up in a dangerous Piru neighborhood in Compton, surrounded by gang culture and violence. His father moved the family to Compton after Kendrick's mother gave him an ultimatum to leave the streets. But the city of Compton turned out to be just as dangerous as Chicago. Despite their efforts to shield Kendrick, the reality of gang life was unavoidable.
Hey kid, where the pump at, nigga? Well, let me go get that. Go get the pump. Go get the pump. Hey,
if you see his son looks just like his father.
It's a couple things.
Is that him?
Death and loss were constants in his world.
Is that baby Kendrick?
Death and loss were constants in his world. By the time he was 8 years old, he had witnessed 2 murders. And as a teenager, Kendrick felt the pull of the streets. His father, after recognizing where Kendrick was headed and seeing the kind of company he kept, had a serious conversation with him. My father said, "I don't want you to be like me." I couldn't grasp it at the time. He told me about his mistakes and warned me not to make the same ones. His father was a street dude, and now he was seeing his son heading down the same destructive path. So he tried all he could to steer his son in the right direction.
I'm still mad they killed Ghost on Power. I'll never get over that.
But still, the pressures of the streets were too strong.
That man knew a lot, but not enough to keep me past them streets.
Where you at?
My pops was still, you know what I mean, bumping his head too, but at the same time, he always had so much of a love for me. He gave me the wisdom in the game to say, you know what, I did that, don't do that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes he could stop it, sometimes he couldn't, because I still had my friends surrounding me in the community.
Art of peer pressure.
Lil L, Kendrick's best friend since elementary school, represents the Piru set. He became widely known after appearing in Noisy Compton. L's life has been turbulent, marked by time in and out of jail since his teens. His mother's addiction to crack during his early years left him reliant on care from others in the community. Jason Keaton is another one of his closest on care from others in the community.
That is a fire shot. I'm pretty sure that was intentional, but that is a fire shot.
Jason Keaton is another one of his close childhood friends. He lost his mother in the 6th grade, and by the time he was 14, he was fully immersed in the Westside Piru gang. In 2007, Jason was sentenced to 21 years in prison. After he got arrested, he asked Kendrick to look after his younger brother, Chad. Tragically, Chad was killed in a drive-by shooting in 2013, leaving Jason with immense guilt for introducing his brother to the gang lifestyle. Kendrick also felt guilty for being unable to protect Chad, as he had promised.
I felt more safer in Afghanistan than I did what I do here. It's constantly, you have to watch cars going up and down your street. When you walk outside your house, you want to see who's out there before you step too far outside.
That's crazy to have to, live your life like that. But unfortunately, that's just a lot of people's circumstances. It's not that they want to be in that circumstance. It's just all that they have, and that's all that they know.
Outside your front door now.
Chad was a really hard one for Kendrick. It was really hard for him because Chad was like younger than us, like a little bro.
J-Man, another childhood friend, faced a similar fate.
My big brother was from the hood, you know what I'm saying? So his name J-Man, you know what I'm saying? A member affiliated with a known gang. He found himself going to prison for 25 years. You feel me? I ain't had no daddy or no mama at the time, you feel me? So all I had was the hood.
Some of his other childhood friends are Lil Ducky, J Real, and Yang Yang. Ducky recently just finished a 10-year prison sentence.
Bob that Piru, nigga do 2 summers of participation. Bitch, I went 25 summers straight. I've been knowing this nigga Kendrick on my son life. On my son life. I've been knowing this nigga since this, nigga. Yes. On my son, nigga. Yeah. No cap, nigga.
J Real and Yang Yang are mentioned in Kendrick's song Mad City and have appeared in his music videos. However, there isn't much information about them. G-Weed is someone who he calls his big homie. He is currently doing 11 years in prison.
That's one thing I do like about Kendrick. If you go back and you look at all of his music videos, he always has the dudes he grew up with in his music videos. Like every single one of them, except maybe like Count Me Out or something like that. The most recent ones from the Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But like To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, Good Kid, Mad City, I think. But anyway, they're almost always in his music videos, and I love the fact that he does that. He includes them in what it is that he's doing, and that's why I don't get why people be like, "Oh, you don't know these people," or he's not associated with these people. Like it's all documented. It's all there. Y'all just don't be paying attention.
Everyone I've mentioned so far all falls under the West Side Pyrus. Unlike his friend,
Like, look, that's L right there. I think Smack is in this video as well. Smack was just in the Squabble Up music video.
Kendrick had the stability of a father who provided guidance and a mother who avoided addiction. Despite this, he didn't shy away from joining his friends in their activities. They smoked, drank, committed petty and serious crimes, fought rival neighborhood kids. He was even banging the set for a time.
That's Hit a J3 right there. They're always in his music videos.
Drank, committed petty and serious crimes, fought rival
That's Hit a J3 right there.
neighborhood kids. He was even banging the set for a time. Here's the thing about gangbanging. I was born in that area where you have to be affiliated. Gangs is my family. I grew up with them. Everything from Good Kid, Mad City actually happened to him.
Kendrick's been making Good Kid, Mad City since I've known him. So
Dave.
for me, it was like all those stories. It was just like, finally.
Dave was out there in them trenches too. So that's why it was so funny for Drake to try to push that narrative that Dave Free slept with Whitney and had a child with Whitney. You tried to break up a legit friendship, a legit brotherhood. These dudes have been getting it together out the mud. It's you who have weird friendships and sleeping with the same women. Like, are we forgetting that you and A$AP Rocky allegedly ran a train on your baby mother and that's how she got pregnant? So you just decided to project a similar instance onto Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free. Mind you, Whitney grew up with both of them. That's her brother as well. Like she was there in the trenches as well with them. You're a funny guy, Drake.
People get to hear the truth, you know what I'm saying?
Did you really meet a woman in a shopping center, or did that actually happen?
Yeah, definitely. It was us being depressed because something just happened to our homeboy, tragic.
Right, yeah.
And when we got confronted by this lady inside of a shopping center, that was the actual moment that really transpired, to me actually making a change in my life. Drinking habits, you'll see when I had them. Yeah. You'll see smoking habits. That was me.
You?
That got laced.
Oh.
Reason why I don't smoke, and it's in that album.
Who's the motherfucker that laced your shit?
It's in the story. Sing About Me is definitely a true song. My partner talking to me, speaking on the story, how I was there, when his brother passed, and I got to watch him take his last breath. Him, respecting I was down for his brother, no matter how much they called him a delinquent. And if I happen to pass before your album drop, I want you to tell this story. Sing about me. Make sure you sing about me. And he definitely passed too.
When he was 15, he got stomped out. And this wasn't the only time this happened. It's
What
almost
the hell is
normal
that?
and new from where he's from. For example, Kendrick has a childhood friend he started rapping with named Antonio, aka Cannon.
Do you know a guy called Cannon?
My dude Antonio.
Here's a clip of him telling a story of when he and Kendrick were attacked and had to fight a group of dudes.
We were walking to the squad meet to get some t-shirts or whatever, and these dudes were like, "Hey, where you from?" And I just walked out. Kendrick was walking with me. And then I just felt knuckles go, bah! Hit me in the back of the head. And I'm like, I spun around and clipped him on the chin. Kendrick was like, "Hey!" And he fighting with like two dudes. I don't know what came over us. We turned into like wild Tasmania devils or something, because we was able to beat up 4 dudes with just 2 of us, and we both short. It was the adrenaline that just had us like, y'all not about to just fucking just pick on us and beat us up. Like, nah, that's not happening.
Eventually, Kendrick started to realize
Go
how
down
lucky
swinging.
he had everything his friends didn't: loving and supporting parents, and a talent that could help him escape his environment. At the same time, he was also starting to see the consequences of their choices.
I was probably the only one in America probably with an actual active father in his life. I don't know. Well, at least in Compton. I bumped my head a few times, but what they didn't have, what I had, was somebody to say, all right, you bumped your head, now you see what happened? You in back of a police car. See what happened? You at the station.
In one interview, Kendrick recalled picking up his best friend Lil L and pleading with him to join him at the studio. But L refused, saying that he had to put in work and do his thing. Hours later, he was arrested. What struck him most was the realization that if he hadn't been in the studio, he would have definitely been with L, committing the same crime, and he'd likely have gone to jail too. From that moment on, their paths diverged. In a 2011 interview, Kendrick admitted he was almost sent to prison himself. He had been arrested and often faced dangerous encounters with police. To this day, Kendrick avoids sharing specifics about that period of his life. He knows how people fixate on negativity, and he doesn't want to glorify a lifestyle that destroyed so many of his loved ones.
That's what I was just saying earlier. Like, he's went through these things. He's documented them, but he's not putting it on Front Street. That's not what he's leading with, basically. Where you have other people who want to promote and push mob ties, banging this, banging that. He doesn't have to. Especially when you're a real artist.
He's committed to being a voice of change.
You know, when you think of Compton, all you think about, glorifying street violence. Me coming from the area, seeing all my uncles and really seeing that lifestyle, I want to, bring something different to the table.
And from Compton, I could have easily came out and said, I did this, I did that. I killed a whole bunch of niggas out in front of the, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather talk about something a little bit more deeper than that. The reasons and the problem and the solutions behind it.
He sees his role as a person who's showing a better path, even though the darkness of his past still seeps into his music and words. This is the side of himself he tries to hide from the public, the hot-headed shadow self, as his partner Dave Free calls it. In a 2022 W magazine interview, Dave reflected on the side of Kendrick. Those moments when we will get impressed, or me seeing that side of Kendrick which people don't know. I've seen that side of him where he'd be a poet in one moment, but then he'd be protecting himself or his family. Through it all, Kendrick chose to rise above. Most of his friends didn't get that chance, and that's why he refuses to romanticize the streets.
First off, RP to my nigga S Braze, my nigga Chad, and my big homie Pup. I do it for them, but that shit hurted when they took my niggas away from me, man. Shit, all of them died gunshots. Got killed.
The person takes somebody you love, you feel like you want to go get some revenge, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing him battle with that on the road was, like, hard because it's, like, it was real. It's like,
forgiving his friends' killers was an emotional burden, made heavier by the guilt of leaving his friends that were trapped back home. His friend G-Weed was shot in the head and then right after sent to prison for 11 years. Another friend from the neighborhood, Key Richards, was killed a few years ago. He gave him a little tribute while he was performing on SNL. Because of all the people he's lost, he has made it a priority to uplift his community and give back to those he grew up with that are still around. While Jason was incarcerated, he went back to school and got a degree. He also wrote 2 books behind bars that Kendrick promoted while performing on SNL. During that same performance, he celebrated Lil L finally getting his passport, meaning he could go on tour with them. Since L has been out of prison in 2019, he's been working at PG Lang. He's also being put through school by...
And that's how you do it. That's how you plant money trees. That's how you give back, especially to your boys. You put them in positions to get money the legit way, not the street way anymore. That's exactly how you do it. You employ your people, show them a different way, show them that they don't gotta live that lifestyle anymore.
Kendrick for an executive position that's waiting for him when he's done.
Right now, he putting me through executive school and shit. It ain't nothing to play. I gotta stay 100% focused.
That's fire.
Kendrick and Dave be on my ass about going to the hood, and it's like, you know, they don't want a nigga in jail, so I understand what they saying. Shit, I be in 5-star hotels with them, like, you know, going to the studios with them out of town, like, you know, certain shit that I don't broadcast because, you know.
J Real, Ducky, and Richie also work at the company. I'm sure, like Lil L, there are plans to get them set up long term. He's also looked out for his childhood friend J-Man's little brother Hitter, most recently putting him on GNX. He has created a supportive environment, proving that it's possible to rise above circumstances and inspire change.
Shout out to Geek About It for that video. That was very well put together. I didn't know what to expect going into that, especially with that dramatic ass caption, Kendrick Lamar's extremely dark and violent past detailed. But that was very well put together. So shout out to Geek About It. Again, I'll put the link in the description. Cousins, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on my commentary. Do you agree with some of the things that I said? And I will catch y'all in my next video. Later.